Welcome VEVE family. In today's video we talk about the 12 days of VEVE, the winners and the losers. But first, happy holidays. Hope you've enjoyed the time off. If you've been working, I thank you for your dedication. So jumping straight in, if you don't know, the 12 days of VEVE was a promotional thing from VEVE, talking about giveaways as well. To be honest, the giveaways weren't that useful. I don't think a lot of people actually won. Personally, it was just more of a promotional thing. What really interested me was the 12 plus drops talked about between the 13th and the 24th of December. So what we're doing in this video is I'll just be going through what those drops were, and I'll put them in a bit of order from the least popular to the most popular. Hopefully you find this video useful when it comes to working out if you should be holding or selling or picking stuff up on the secondary market. Just a reminder, it's not financial advice, it's my own opinion. At the bottom of the pile for me is the final Season 2 drop, and it's from the 007 No Time to Die, and it's Valdo's case. It's animated in the sense the case opens and closes, and there's a bit of movement within that, things moving in and out. But to be honest, I was very disappointed with this drop, as being the last one of Season 2, and looking at the marketplace, it's selling below cost, less than what people actually paid for it. People are just desperate to sell it and get rid of the item and get some gems back to it. The only saving grace, as I mentioned here, about this item is it is technically the last drop of Season 2, so that may have some value in the future, but right now it's cheaper. Chips to pick us up just now, which is disappointing for that drop. So I put it at the bottom in terms of popularity and future potential. Moving on, I'm going to probably go batter through all these comics here. So again, I'm more of a collectible person rather than a comic person, but the Iron Fist comic did seem to be quite underwhelming. First appearance of Sabretooth, I think people would be more interested in seeing his first appearance in an X-Men comic rather than his first overall appearance in the comic books itself. Iron Fist has not been a hugely popular character. He did have 2 seasons of a Netflix show before it was cancelled, but he may show up in a future MCU project. Next comment is the Avengers, and it's the first appearance of Vision. Again, popular Avenger in the movies, and he had his own TV show with Wanda called WandaVision. But again, comics not doing a huge amount, particularly commons and uncommons. Really only the Secret Lair seems to be doing quite well on the comic book side of things. At the moment you can pick up these comics for around about cost or just above cost, around about 10 gems. And the final comic of this 12 days was the Astonishing XMen, and again, not a huge appeal for me personally. I do like the common cover here of Wolverine's claws, but on the marketplace for the common and uncommon, relatively easy to pick up, and again it's only really the ultra rare Secret Rare it's kind of more desirable on the marketplace. So I've grouped those 3 comics together because personally I don't see them having huge value for the commons, uncommons and even the rare going forward, but that'll might change in a year time from now. But in the meantime, there's other things that I'd be looking to pick up or hold in the meantime, and I'd rather get the gems out just now and use it for something else that will gain me potentially more gems in the future and buy back in if I really wanted to. So this is an interesting one. This is part of the Hawkeye TV show. I may give away, be giving away a minor spoiler for a post-credit scene, so you might want to just mute my audio during this segment. Avengers Musical is a in-universe music production of the first Avengers film. So interesting, it's set 2024, but it goes over the events of 2012 Avengers film. This is just a poster. It's a couple of scenes in the show, and the post-credit scene of the final episode is one full musical number from that show. So they might produce more content around this in the future. It might be an actual musical we decide to produce, in which case this might be quite popular. It is ultra rare, so I did pick it up. I'm planning on holding it, but I don't see it as being particularly long term. But it's one of those ones a bit more risky in terms of a play, because if you do more production, more content around the Avengers Musical, it may pick up. It's already been seen. Posters of this been seen in Spiderman No Way Home, so it might appear in future Marvel projects. Moving on, Deadpool has been quite an interesting character, and you can see here his first appearance, Deadpool, which should make it very popular, but I think a lot of people put off with the Santa hat and the Christmas jumper. So at one point this was doing about 240 gems at the common on the marketplace. It dipped very quickly after the drop to around about 100 gems. I think now it's at about 80 gems, so it's still I think undervalued for our first appearance of a popular character. Deadpool will be getting a 3rd movie at some point in the future. Ryan Reynolds will praise Deadpool in the movies, is quite fond of doing funny promotional material, adverts, YouTube, etc. So maybe we'll see in the future a Christmas promo featuring Deadpool. So I do see this potentially going up in the future, but at the moment I sold high and use those gems to kind of purchase other things. One, if you've got just now, might be worth holding on to, or you might plan on selling it. I'd really just keep an eye on the marketplace and just see what it does over the next couple of weeks, and up for yourself if you want to kind of sell just now and potentially lose out on future gems, or hold to next Christmas where it will probably be worth a bit more than it is just now. But again, tie up to yourself, and always recommend do your own research and do your own kind of analysis of what you think's worthwhile for you. If those 80 gems say you get just now from selling it, it's going to really help you purchase stuff in the future, then go for it, I'd say. But if you think actually you've got the gems, you're going to put the gems in, and you don't actually need the 80 gems now, then why would you be selling it just now? I would just hold on to it. But again, just my own opinion if I was in that situation, not my own financial advice. So this is again an interesting one. Guardians of the Galaxy. This is the first appearance of Baby Groot. And again, a lot of people put off with the kind of Christmas themed decorations. It was animated, the uncommon and rare, I believe. But again, not hugely pop, and the actual common is going for well below the actual cost price to pick it up during the drop. And it's quite a high edition drop as well. One thing to point out, Guardians of the Galaxy have got a final film coming out sometime next year or year after, but they have also planned to do a Christmas special next year in 2022. So I could see this potentially going up in value closer to the time of that Christmas special actually comes out. It'd be interesting to see what they do, because currently Groot is a bit of a teenager, not a baby. So Baby Groot was really from the end of the first one, beginning of the second one. So it'd be interesting to see if they have a Baby Groot as part of that Christmas special, or if it'll just be teenage or adult Groot. So again, high up than Deadpool, simply because we already know for a fact that there's a Christmas special coming next year. With Deadpool, it's more of a speculation whether or not Ryan Reynolds does anything Christmas related next year to promote Deadpool 3. So I was kind of disappointed with this drop. The Abbot Christmas themed drop, Series 3 from Kozik, usually is quite popular. We're currently going for just above the commons here, just above the cost of the drop itself. Obviously the rare, ultra rare, etc. are going for more in the drop here, so this depends if you're lucky enough to pick one up on the drop. You may have decided to sell or hold. Personally, this isn't something I'll be able to pick up anytime soon myself. I did pick up a common during the drop, so I'll probably just keep a hold of that and just see what happens. There has been a speculation that you can at some point breed rabbits together with other rabbits. I'm not too sure how it works, so can't really speculate as to the impact that would cost, but if breeding is confirmed and introduced, do expect to see a pump for the rabbits going up as that's available. Also, it's been talked about potentially these being the first collectibles available on OpenSea once we have that more open platform to try and transfer across to. But again, all speculation, so it's up to yourself what you want to do. But I do see this potentially increasing in value over time, all to do with the transference. So I do see this going up in the future, just due to the fact it could end up being on OpenSea, and also the breeding possibility. So moving on, the Christmas stamps, I think probably one of the ones that had the biggest return on the initial drop. These were 6 gems to pick up, and going for quite a lot more of that on the actual app itself. So a lot of gems to kind of pick these up and create a full set of 4. Again, I think this will be less popular as time goes on during next year, and then pick up again around about Christmas 2022. So again, I didn't pick any of these up. I'm not planning to pick any of these up, but if you do have them, if I had one just now from a drop, I'd be holding it, or I've sold it by now within the first 24 hours of the drop itself. But it's interesting to see that, you know, the stamps we had from a few months ago, that was part of a different series. So this is series 1 from a different stamp collection, which is interesting. Also a bit disappointing, it's not all part of the UPS series, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with stamps going forward. But personally, I've always found the 3D collectibles to be where I find the most enjoyment for picking up, and not the 2D posters or 2D stamps or the comics. But I have put it quite high up on the list here, just because I think if you did get it on the drop, you have maximised the amount of gems you can get on that. You've 10x'd it easily, if not more, depending on what you get on the drop. So definitely a big winner for me. I would say if you've got a rabbit, stamps or anything like that so far, if you've made more gems on that than what you paid, definitely a winner. Whereas with the comics, etc., you could have picked it up and not made very much at all. If you picked up Groot, for example, you would have made anything if you sold the common for under what you paid for it. Bear in mind, with Marvel, the comics is collectibles, so there's that 8.5% tax for selling on the secondary market, which will eat into any gems you get from it. So moving in, I probably consider this in top 1, top 2, top picks in terms of winners. The Snow Globes themselves going for a lot more in the cost to pick them up on the drop. very popular, very iconic. I do see these going up in value in the future, not just before Christmas, but just throughout the whole year of 2022. As I think they've been swept on just now. There's a lot of speculation on what would be coming out during the 12 days of VEVE. So people probably are holding back their gems or selling for less than what they'd want to, just to kind of get the gems back. So I do see these possibly having a small pump over the next year or so. And again, definitely increasing the value before Christmas next year. And the biggest winner for me has probably been the Steamboat Willie. All three versions are going for well above the cost of the drop itself. The actual common at one point peaked at 580, I think now it's down to 520, 500 gems on the marketplace. Ultra rare, I think 5-6k. So huge congrats to anyone who picked this up at the drop and was able to kind of hold it a bit longer than most and sell it for a high. I do feel there is something interesting going on with the Disney drop here with this Mickey Mouse collection. Steamboat Willie is, as I mentioned, the commons been going for about 500-600 gems on the marketplace, but the actual total amount, the total supply in the marketplace, number of listings, has been fairly consistent between 8 and 950 on the marketplace, but the price will continue going up. So it'll be interesting to know what's happening there, if people are picking up, if whales are coming in and stacking these up with the hopes of selling at some point in the future. So I wouldn't be surprised if next year we see us go up and down in price and value as people sell and pick up and sell again and go through that cycle we've seen with these. So for me, the Steamboat Willie is definitely a must-have and biggest winner, followed quickly by the Snow Globe. Personally, I'll be looking to kind of keep my Mickey Mouse collection and keep it probably for the longer term. Although depending on what happens in the marketplace, I may sell off and buy something else depending on what comes out in the future. 2022 could be a very big year for VEVE. A lot of speculation that Pokemon could happen at some point in that year. So I'd definitely be looking to kind of sell out before then to have the gems to buy into Pokemon, because I do think the Pokemon collectibles will be worth more than Disney collectibles. Also, I did kind of spend some gems picking up first appearance Harley Quinn. Again, did a video on this, but I highly recommend if you have the gems spare to pick up any first appearance from season 1, season 2 of popular characters like Joker, Harley Quinn, etc., Wonder Woman. And also make sure you always have gems available to kind of participate in any future drops. Nothing's been announced yet, but one thing I would draw people's attention to is VEVE said 12 plus drops for the 12 days of VEVE, but we actually didn't get that. At least one drop has been postponed, delayed, or cancelled. We don't know yet what a drop was and when it'll be rescheduled to, if it will be. I'm assuming it will, but it could be a bit of a delay until that happens. I'm assuming Tuesday coming up will be a comic book drop, but apart from that, we don't really know what will be the next popular drops on VEVE, so do keep an eye on this channel and other channels to kind of find out the latest news, what's happening, and make sure you're prepared for future drops. I'd be interested to know in the comments below, what collectibles did you pick up during the 12 days of VEVE? Did you sell any? Did you pick any up in the secondary market? And what are your plans going forward? Are you going to be holding or selling for the long term? If you have enjoyed this video, please do consider checking this video out here. It's been very popular on the channel. Or you can check out this video here. I'm sure you'll love it. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.